This is our big motor. It's a Mott Energy permanent magnet motor, Manta 2, 10 horsepower DC. It's supposed to have 72 RPMs per volt of input, 10 horsepower continuous duty at 48 volts, and it weighs 35 pounds. I put a bit lighter there to an overall idea of how big this thing is. This is the little motor we did on our first simple speed controller test. Weighs about 5 pounds. I think it's rated at about 350 watt and usually about a 30 amp control. And that's the one we initially tried our small scale test for our repurposed V-Glide, and it passed that test with flying colors. So then we moved on to bigger batteries and a much bigger motor. Well, here's our simple motor controller, and now we're gonna try it on the big scale. We've got 3 larger batteries hooked up in series. These are 12 volt 35 amp hour solar batteries. We've got our 36 volt solenoid, and we've got our big motor. So we've got our controller hooked up to each one of our batteries. We've got our solenoid hooked up to our internal switch. I'll show you on this side. There's our internal switch. So we've got our 12 volt power coming in off the first battery, going to the lowest terminal here. Got our 12 volt power, or 24 volts coming off the second battery. And that would be this terminal here. And we've got our 36 volts coming off of the third battery in the series, and that would be this guy here. So the power comes in out of the batteries, depending on if it's 12 volts, 24 volts, or 36 volts, depending on where the brush goes across it. When the power comes out of this main power lug, it goes to our solenoid. And then so when our solenoid is switched on, power will go out of the solenoid into the back of our big motor. And the other terminal follows around to the ground on our first battery and completes the 36 volt circuit. This is a 36 volt solenoid, so we had to draw our power off of the third battery in the series for 36 volts. We don't have our key hooked up in line, but the key would go in this line here to break the circuit to the solenoid. So even if our throttle basically is turned and it opens the switch down in there, it still will not turn on the solenoid and power will not go to the motor. So now we've got it all explained, let's give it a try. Simple motor controller on the bigger scale. Test 1. So we got 12 volts. And they're zipping along. 24 volts. 36 volts. 24 volts, 12 volts, complete stop. Just a quick test. None of our cables are getting warm. Our unit itself's not getting warm. Let's try it again. 12. On the floor. 46. High speed. Well, it's been about 5 minutes into our test. Our motor is still humming along. Let's quick feel. I don't have any fancy gauges or anything. Nothing's getting warm. Well, it's been almost 10 minutes now, and our V-Glide, repurposed V-Glide that is, simple controller, seems to be working as designed. And again, none of our cables are getting hot. Even the main output, power to the motor, not even warm. The motor itself, still not all that warm either. Not warm at all, actually. Well, I guess our next step is to start mounting it on the cart. Also, our repurposed V-Glide has passed this test with flying colors. And next, we'll get her mounted on the cart and give that a test. That's going to be fun.